Namaste, Seekers. Welcome to yet another Seeker Satsang on a Sunday morning. And as we discussed, so last time we had discussed about the Gita Yoga, and today we'll discuss about what are you seeking. So we will actually list down in this very discussion itself the holistic seeking that you want to do in your life. So before we start, let's pray for a minute. Sit straight. Namaskara Mudra. Eyes closed. We'll chant Om Sahana Bhavatu. Inhale deeply. Om Sahana Bhavatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. All right. So before we start the whole habit formation journey, first we should know where are we heading towards, right? If we don't know where are we heading towards, then we won't know where to put our efforts in, right? So direction is very important. So today we will do this exercise. So thanks for joining, Sharon. So if you can grab a pen and paper, that will be great, and see if you can come on video. Okay, so before we go into seeking, little bit of context around seeking. The word seek, what is the meaning of seek? So seek is to want something, wanting to get something, or wanting to attain something. Okay, so that's what we broadly equate seeking to. And the one who is seeking is a seeker. So that's why our group is named as corporate seekers. Okay, the seekers who are seeking something in our corporate life. Okay, so what do we seek typically? We seek very obvious things, right? For example, of course, we want money, we want career growth, we want good health, and we want to create more wealth. We want to go on site, we want to get promotion quickly, we want to get double-digit annual hikes and whatnot. Okay, so these are the typical things, obvious things that we seek. Okay, so a tagline that we have for corporate seekers is seeking beyond the obvious. We will definitely seek the obvious things. No, can we elevate ourselves to seek something beyond the obvious also? So we'll look at both the angles here. Okay, so to give the context for what we typically seek, and I'm just opening the windows for some fresh air. Yeah. I'll take a few minutes to explain what I am seeking personally in my life. Is that okay? So show me a thumbs up if you're okay for me to share what I'm seeking, so that it gives certain idea of what actually we can seek in our life. Okay, so allow me a second. Let me bring the slide on. Share my screen. Yeah. So do you see the slide? Okay, Shivani, just give me a thumbs up. We can see. Okay, cool. So what are you seeking? And we're going to do a live activity. So please have a pen and paper or notebook handy. We'll write it today. By the end of this conversation, we'll have a decent idea of what each of us might be seeking in life. Okay, so that subsequently we can align our habit formation journey, because what we seek has to translate into action on a daily basis, right? So we'll have this as a base. Okay, so this is what I'm broadly seeking, and few months ago when I was doing a bit of studies, uh, this kind of emerged in my mind that this is how I should classify what I'm seeking in life. So I've classified it into three categories. Okay, so one is my core. These are the core things that I seek in life, and then external freedom and inner freedom. This is how I've classified the three things. Okay, this may not necessarily be the same way that you seek, but I'm presenting to you to give a context, to give a reference point. Okay, because when I look at it, it feels very comprehensive for me, what one can seek in life. Okay, so together, my core, my external freedom, and my inner freedom, together it forms holistic freedom, holistic happiness. This is what we want, right? It's we don't want to be in a situation where my career is going really well, but my relationships are messed up, or I have fantastic relationships, but my career is getting screwed. So we don't want, we don't want to progress only in one certain area, and we don't want to suffer in other areas. We want to collectively, holistically achieve a sense of happiness in every dimension of life. Okay, that's why the word holistic happiness. Okay, and for me, freedom is a very big theme. Okay, so that's why I call this as holistic freedom. That's why you see external freedom and inner freedom. So what are these three categories? Let's look at it one by one. Okay, so my core, I expand this into 4 elements. Okay, so I derived this from a book actually. I'll show the book as well in the next slide. There is a let me show the book cover later. It's there in the next slide. So what is fundamental? What is, if you strip off everything else that we are doing in life, that I'm doing in life, what is it at the core that I want to seek? Fundamental thing is we are in this physical body. It's very important that we take care of this body very well and keep this body healthy. Okay, so healthy body, and as the scriptures say, Sharira Madhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. So our Purushartha Chatushtaya, our scriptures say that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the fourfold purposes of life, right? Dharma, walking the righteous path. Artha, creating wealth, both the material wealth and spiritual wealth, the inner wealth, inner growth. Okay, Kama, seeking and deriving enjoyment and satisfaction from the Artha that we have created, the wealth that we have created through the dharmic means, through the righteous path. And then after having earned, walked the path of dharma, earned the inner and external wealth, and having enjoyed it rightfully, then we should be in a position to detach from all these things. And, that's the moksha part, the nirvana, moksha part. Okay. So if we need to do all these things, if we need to execute our dharmic or dharma responsibilities, we need this body. Nice. Okay, so if the body is not functioning properly, we may not be able to execute our responsibilities as dharma. So healthy body is foundational. Okay, as long as we are in this physical body, we have to take very good care of this healthy body. Now, this might mean, again, there are different interpretations of healthy body or a good body, right? So making sure that the body is clean inside and outside, and I'm putting the nourishment, the nourished food. I'm nourishing the body with a nutritious food. Okay, and I'm not abusing the body. I'm keeping the body supple. It means both flexible and strong at the same time. Based on the requirement, I should be able to express strength in my physical body, keep it very flexible as well. Okay, so these are different ways, and I have to give sufficient rest for the body, right? I should not over exert my body. Ayurveda always emphasizes on brahmacharya, and same is yoga. Brahmacharya is not just celibacy, it's about moderation in everything that we do. So healthy body is very important. We should not abuse our physical body by overusing it. For example, just taking a typical famous relevant example for today's world, watching a web series overnight. I've done this mistake myself a few times. Okay, they're so engrossing that we lose a track of time and we just keep watching all night. Okay, that's a very abusing body for sense enjoyment of the eyes. Okay, so or hogging food unmindfully. So there are various ways by which we abuse the body. So it's very important. A healthy body is a foundation. The next one is calm mind, because a chaotic mind cannot be happy. A chaotic mind cannot take informed intellectual decisions. A chaotic mind doesn't listen to our intellect. It runs like a monkey by itself. It's a mind, we call it as a monkey mind, because it is always fluctuating. It is going back in the history, bringing old memories, or worrying about what will happen in the future. So as long as the mind is not regulated, sublimated, we cannot achieve what we want to achieve. So calm mind is another foundational element. So if you really see, these two are the fundamentals. One can always have a calm mind in spite of not having a healthy body. That is also possible. But the space and age that we are in, both are very important. Healthy body and calm mind. Because only a calm mind, a peaceful mind can experience happiness. Happiness, I used to think, it's very important to sort of simplify the knowledge into one sentence. It will be great if we can simplify the whole scriptural knowledge into one word. Okay. So till some time ago, I used to think happiness is the ultimate goal. But then I realized happiness is a resultant outcome, right? So the prerequisite for that is calm mind. So equanimity, samatvam. So I started thinking my goal of life is equanimity. Samatvam, yoga uchyate. So if I can keep my mind calm, everything else, happiness is a resultant outcome. I don't have direct control on the happiness, but I have control on keeping my mind calm. Okay, so healthy body, calm mind, very important. Happy family. Now, honestly, I was not, of course, I would want a happy family, definitely, but for a long time, I was so self-obsessed. I was so focused on my own plans, my own adventures, my own itch that I want to satisfy. It was all about me, 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 me. Okay. So as the life progressed, then I realized, well, it's a very egoistic way of being, only focusing on myself. So hence, I inculcated this component of happy family. So these three, because if I can be in a state of happiness with my nearest ones, with my wife, with my son, and with my parents, with my sister, and the immediate family circle, because this is where there are everyday instances. It's very easy that you get pissed off and you feel imbalanced within the closest relationships, especially with your spouse, with your parents, because why parents? Because generationally we have a gap. Okay. And both father and mother come with their own mindset. Their mindset is also not same. So as the journey progresses, we will have our own set of differences with our parents. Very common. Okay. Most of the times people have very tumultuous relationship with parents. Most will be wrong to say, but many people will have very tough relationship, very chaotic relationship with their parents. With spouse, see, we live maybe 20, 25 years or 30 years, depending upon when we got married. We would have lived in a certain way. We would have developed a certain mental model about certain beliefs about the world, certain world views, right? So we carry a certain point of view about the world, about the life, about what I want from life. And so is your spouse. So when two people with two different set of upbringing, belief system, about what they give importance to, about different energy levels. When they come together, obviously there is bound to be, of course, the initial honeymoon period might be typically very hunky dory for most people, but then the real thing surfaces. So if we can mold ourselves to be happy in the family circle, okay, we can be happy in any engagement, in any kind of relationships, whether it is workplace or with friends or with other larger society, people in society, etc., your neighbors and whatnot. Okay. But again, you see, as I said, happiness is an outcome. What is the prerequisite? Calm mind. So together, healthy body, calm mind, and happy family is three things that I derived from a book. I'll mention about the book. It's called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. So I'll talk about the book in a while. Okay. Then growing up, of course, we are born in Bharat, and we have studied about the history, etc. But it was more mechanical view about our country. Okay. But in the last many years, I happen to have conversations with some of the friends who sort of instilled, they shared stories of people like Maharana Pratap, Shivaji, Sambhaji, and many other people. And I started taking more interest towards the nation as a construct. Okay, and the level of the kind of country we were in the past and what we are now, there is a big difference. Okay, at one point, Bharat used to contribute to 25% of global GDP, and we were so prosperous that only a prosperous person can actually evolve further. If somebody, they say, don't teach Vedanta to somebody who is not having food to eat. So hungry person cannot will not be hungry enough for knowledge. Okay, that's the summary. So similarly, only a prosperous nation can progress spiritually, evolve in higher dimensions. So we were so prosperous as a country that our rishis, the ancestors, really explored the spiritual realm, so much so that all that is the scientific world is trying to prove now, they already knew all that and documented all that and percolated all those things in the form of our own culture, right? So that's the greatness of our nation. We have inherited a great legacy, and whatever happened in the history has happened. External invaders, colonial rule, so that completely broke the backbone of our education system, how we look at our own country, right? So somewhere over the last few years, this started, growing upon me about a vision of a prosperous Bharat. So this element I added to the three elements of healthy body, calm mind, and happy family, and prosperous Bharat, because our existence should not be just for me making money, me taking care of my body and mind, and me having a happy family, right? So if that is a foundation, on top of it, if I can align myself with a larger purpose, which is much, much larger than me, right? So we have seen, we have heard the story of a squirrel playing its own role while building the bridge Ram Setu from Bharat Rameshwaram to Dhanushkoti in Rameshwaram to Sri Lanka, right? So when the Ram's army was going to Lanka to fight Ravana and get Sitama, so squirrel was taking, immersing itself into the sea water and rolling all over the sand, and then going near the bridge that is being constructed by Vanar Sena, and then shaking itself. So when Ram asked, "What are you doing?" So squirrel said, "I am a very small being. I'm very small. I'm not as powerful as Hanuman and his friends. So I cannot lift these big boulders. So all I can do in my own small capacity, I'm contributing." Such a wonderful gesture, isn't it? But even one person can bring a change in the society. The change has to start within. The change has to start from ourselves individually. And this change that we bring within can have a positive ripple effect. And so much so that individuals have the power to influence a nation, both for the good and for the bad. Okay. So if in my own capacity, like a squirrel in the construction of Ram Setu, as an analogy, what can I do in my capacity towards prosperous Bharat? That was the thought process. So intentionally, I brought prosperous Bharat as one of my core elements. So that summarizes my core, where it is coming from. Healthy body, because Sharira Madhyam Kaludharma Sadhanam, calm mind, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Okay. Manaha Prashamana Upayaha. If we can calm down the mind, okay, that is the foundation for happiness. If I can be calm within, I can exude happiness, I can exude positivity, and that rubs on in nurturing a happy family. It's a journey. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. There are times when I'm in terrible mood, having fights with my wife and son. Happens. Shit happens. Okay. So, but it's a journey. Am I progressively evolving? The trajectory of the path is important than an instance. There will be instances, 10 instances where I'm happy, 2 instances where I'm like terrible in the relationships. But the trajectory, is the graph moving upwards gradually? It need not be a straight line, 45-degree line in terms of healthy body, calm mind, happy family. But somewhere the direction of the trajectory, is it upward? Is it forward? That is important. Prosperous Bharat, I have figured out few mechanisms by which I can contribute to our nation building. So in 25 years from now, in the whole, I love the concept of Amrit Kal. In 25 years, if we can aim to be a prosperous nation that we were in the past in all parameters. Okay, in terms of the power that our country represents in the global scheme of things, and economically, politically, in different dimensions, and spiritually, we were anyway very prosperous. If we can bring back that spiritual glory amongst the Bharatiyas, Indians, that will be great. So I'll play my little role in that. So this is my core. Okay. Now I want you to pause for a second and stop sharing. Okay. Close your eyes. You don't need to write anything. Reflect. What is your core? What is the most important thing that you want to seek in life? Okay. I'll give you 30 seconds. Just reflect. You may not have a ready answer, which is okay. Get a sense. What is important for you? If we strip off everything that you have in life, what is the core that you want to seek? Okay, thank you. You may gently open your eyes. So, Srivani, you want to express what came to you? Try unmuting. Is it happen? Okay, I'll have to ask you to unmute. Yeah, now.
Only thing is, my grandma lived for 100 years, almost 99 to 100 years.
Huh.
And before she was dying, at that time only she used to take some multivitamin syrup like that. Otherwise, she didn't use any medication.
Hmm.
So even my father and my uncles, like 70 to 80 years, are there now.
Hmm.
And they are also not having any issues till now.
Hmm.
So currently I'm at 30s. I have almost knee pain, shoulder pain like that. Even though I'm doing like this that. So apart from that, I don't have any medications and anything else. At least up to 50 to 55 years, I don't want to use any pill
Hmm.
for any reason.
Okay, so pill-free life is one of the core things, foundation things that appeals to you. Okay, great. So you can write it down. Okay, so
Obviously, many things will happen because I am running the family now, so I'll cook, I'll feed. So my kids and my husband also will be in that same path.
Very nice. So broadly, it maps to healthy body as a dimension, but you write it down. One of the foundational things that appeals to you as your core that you're seeking is pill-free or tablet-free, medicine-free life. Okay, external medicine-free, of course, and there are natural ways of fulfilling that. Okay, others are not on video, so I don't know whom to ask to unmute. Sharon, Prashant, Rajkishore, Samsung, iPhone. Okay, so you may raise your digital hand. I'll ask you to unmute if you want to talk and express what appeals to you as your core that you are wanting to pursue, want to seek. Okay, looks like none. So we'll continue. Okay, so this is the core. To summarize, this is how I feel it sort of completes my seeking. It should feel motivating for me to pursue this. If nothing else, this is my core. Healthy body, calm mind, happy family, prosperous Bharat. Okay, so let's go to the next element. I'll share the screen again. But we are in this material world. Okay, right? So it's important that we operate in this material world in a meaningful way. So, for example, Srivani, I'll just mute you again. Okay, yeah. So you said I muted you. So you said medicine-free life. You actually put a mention there. You said up to at least 50, 55 years. You say, why not till you take your last breath? Okay. Oh, that's okay. Fine. Think big. It's possible. It's feasible. Right? People have done it. Okay. So whenever we put, say, dreaming is free. We don't pay. We don't have to pay. So anyway, dream big. Okay. Say till I take my last breath, I want to be pill free. Let's see. If exceptions come, that's fine. That's a part of the journey. Okay. So I was reading a wonderful book called 10x is easier than 2x. I'll show the image of the book in the next slide. Okay. I was so deeply influenced, it completely resonated with what I was looking for in life. Okay. But I did not have the right expression of it. That book just blew my mind. And actually, I've not completed reading the book completely. Okay. I was still in the 17th page. I remember very clearly. One day I woke up at 4 a.m. and started reading that book. And 17 pages or 18 pages into the book, I had a mental shift in my mind about how to approach life from a material sense. Okay. So I've probably read only first chapter in that book so far, but that itself was mind shifting input. So external freedom. So basically, going back to dharma, artha, kama, moksha, the fourfold purposes of life, we have to execute our responsibilities. We come with certain dharma in terms of an individual. I have certain dharma for towards my own body, towards my mind, towards my family, towards my nation, towards executing my responsibilities as a family person, as a citizen of this country, as a member of the organization that I'm part of. Right. So we carry all these responsibilities, and our intention is to execute this dharma in the most righteous manner. Okay. However, life seemed to have kind of become a rat race. This is what we hear about typical corporate world, not necessarily with each of us, but this is what we have hear negative words. Okay. And it's always a race against time, against money. There is shortage of funds. There is not enough time. This is a typical thing that I've observed over a period of time. Though I've experienced absolute freedom, very good experiences, etc. I felt that I want to experience a slightly larger dimension to my life. So this book gave me this input, and these four called external freedom element. I mean, the book doesn't call it as external freedom, but I placed it as external freedom for categorization purpose. Okay, freedom of time. So time is a very intriguing construct. Okay, if you remember one of the videos that I posted of Jiddu Krishnamurti a while ago, spoke about most of the suffering is because of thoughts, the thoughts that we carry, and thought is a function of time. It was again a mind shifting perspective. Okay. And if we can dissolve time, transcend time, then we can be in the present moment. And okay, actually it was in the context of fear. Fear is a function of thought, and thought is a function of time. So if we can transcend the dimension of time, well, it's not possible to always do that, but in our state of being, if we can transcend time, then we dissolve fearful thoughts. We can be in the present, and when we be in the present, calm mind is at play. Rather, the mind is kind of dissolved, calm mind state, and then happiness is the resultant outcome. That is one interpretation of time. Here, I'm talking about time more in the angle of how do I leverage time? How do I use my time? How do I apply my time? Okay. So we are always racing against, Srivani, as you said, you have family responsibilities. Maybe in your mind, what do I cook tomorrow? Whether my kids have done homework or not, whether my in-laws and parents have taken tablets or not, what is my husband expecting? This is this itself is a long list. And then there is office. Okay. In the middle of all this, you have to take care of your body and mind. So it's too much to juggle, right? So freedom of time is something that I've always enjoyed and appreciated. Okay. So we should be willing to invest our time how we wish to spend our time. So freedom of time is actually, it's a misnomer actually. There's nothing called freedom of time. It is possible to sort of achieve freedom of time. So when I listed this, the prominent thought here was, how might I be the decision maker of how I spend my time? If I don't align with a certain activity, I don't want to do it. If I believe in a certain activity, I should be able to put my time onto it. So that's where freedom of time is coming from for me. And it is connected. If I want to do certain things, oh, I may not get money if I do that, but I love doing it. So it's important to have financial stability and growth as well. So freedom of money came from that. So if these two are kind of related. If we want to achieve freedom of time, first we have to make sure that there is enough wealth which will allow me to spend time on what I want to spend time on. So freedom of money, and this is a big factor for all of us or most of us, where generally there is always shortage of money. Okay, if not, then why would we be even in a job, right? So money is an important element, and when we don't get a certain band or a increment, we always, our mind is no more in the calm state. Okay, so freedom of money. And this is where this book really had a deeper impact, where it says it's not about time and money. It's about what you choose as your purpose and how you invest your time in it, how you hone your skills in that. Okay. So that's where purpose comes from. Before that, freedom of connections. Freedom of connections means I should be able to engage with people whom I would love to engage with. For example, there are people with whom I would like to have deeper conversations. For that, I need time. For that, I need money as well to travel and make time and meet those people. Okay. But why will they listen to me? So all these factors are there. How do we achieve freedom of people connections? Okay. Whether I know the person or not. Okay. So whether they're far in terms of our reachability, I should be able to connect with them. For example, if let's say there is a wonderful author, okay, and that author is not easily reachable, but I want to connect with that person and have a meaningful conversation. I should be able to do that, right? So freedom of people connection. How to achieve, that's the how journey part. Freedom of purpose is many of us, I won't say most, but many of us tend to sleepwalk through our life as if we are a robo with an AI engine inside, which is programmed to follow a certain template of life. Do your studies, score good marks, get into college, campus interview, get a job. There's a template that society has sort of created, right? Get married, have kids, build a home, buy a car, uh, get insurance. Well, I mean, there's a format, there is a standard operating procedure, SOP for society has kind of molded how your life should be and what you should do, what you should not do. Sometimes, if I eat a lot and put on weight, my family has, I mean, my relatives have a problem. I mean, it has never happened with me that I have been obese because of overeating. But if I follow a very sattvic lifestyle, they have a problem. Okay, hey Manju, you have reduced a lot of weight. You're looking too thin, but they don't know how joyful I'm feeling inside. Okay, so most of it is decided by society. What we do, how we be, it is decided by them, and typical template of life. So at least in my capacity, I would like to break this pattern. I want to pursue those purposes which align with my belief system. I want to invest my time in those endeavors which I believe in, which appeal to me at the core, not just because there is a template set by the society. So that's broadly the external freedom elements: freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of connections, and purpose. Okay. So I invite you to pause. I'll share the screenshot in the WhatsApp community. Okay. So pause and write down what is coming to you as we are having this conversation about external freedom. Okay. So take a moment, write at least one or two. Your list need not come from the list that I have listed here. Okay. So take a moment. I'll let this slide be visible so that if it helps in visual stimulation, let it be. So think about it. Shrivani, Sharan, Prashant, Rajkishore, If you're not on video, I'm assuming that you're kind of paying attention and having, reflecting on what's your external freedom elements. See, now there you have a competing time priority. Your son wants to play with you and you want to focus. So ask him, no, what do you want in life? He's just woken up, baby. Don't worry, attend to him. Okay. So, or you can reflect later. That's fine. So let's move on. This is the external freedom. To satisfy the material elements of this life and at the same time walking that path in a way that makes me feel holistically free and holistically happy. That is a theme. As I said earlier, holistic freedom or holistic happiness is a theme that really attracts me very deeply. Hence, I listed these things. So let's go towards the inner freedom elements. Okay. So inner freedom, this is completely coming from the scriptures that we have been studying. Okay. The senses are very extraneous. And if we give in to the control led by our senses, our life will be a downfall. And to an extent, I've experienced this for a while. And very clearly, if we do not regulate our senses, the senses will start regulating us. They will define where our life is headed, and most of the time it's going to be downhill path. So it's very important. And recently also, Bhagavad Gita exposed this reality that it is very difficult to control the senses. So there are three states that Bhagavad Gita speaks about. One is uncontrolled senses, which will lead to adhogati, downfall. And then if you forcibly try to regulate the senses, forcible regulation, controlling of the senses, it may not last long. So the beauty is to transcend from uncontrolled senses to controlled senses, regulated senses, to sublimated senses. How to sublimate the sense, that's going to be a 1 hour discussion in itself. To divinize the senses, to divinize the way we engage with the world through our senses. So freedom from sense attachments. Then, so this is the famous expression of neti neti. You are not, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm not this body, I'm not that mind, I'm something else. So freedom from the wrong identification we have with this physical body and mind. So how do I transcend this? And then a point will come where seeking means, so going back to Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamaivavashishyate. So it says, if you take fullness out of fullness, what remains is fullness. We are already complete within. So we don't need to seek anything. If we want to buy something to feel fulfilled, it's never going to happen. Because we cannot feel fulfilled by buying something, by having a certain experience. Only when we realize that we're already full within. That's why transcending freedom from identification with body and mind leads to a space where we realize that we're already fulfilled within. If we achieve that, then we don't need to seek anything externally or internally. That is freedom from the process of seeking. And the only last thing that remains is, let's take a one-way ticket and get out of here. Let's not come back here to execute more karmas. So freedom from the transmigration of this soul. As most of us might know, that soul takes a rebirth in a physical form down the line. And the idea is to not transmigrate from one life to another life and unite with the universal energy, universal consciousness from where we have come. So that's the last of the inner freedom elements. Okay. So with this, as I said, I'll share this screenshot for you to reflect more on. So with this, I want to pause and ask you, since Sriveni is the only person on video, and I'll unmute you, Sriveni, go ahead and you can unmute yourself. So from what you saw, what appeals to you as an external freedom element and as inner freedom element? It need not necessarily be in this construct. What's coming in your mind, Sriveni?
almost up to 30 years, we will be in right track.
Mhm.
So our kids, future generation, they are in not in that way, which we came from that way. So I want to make them in certain correct way. So now external world, we can say, we don't know how the future generation will be. Like it's really very fear to me. Like if we can say, like future generations are addictable to negatively easily, and making them into positive is really a challenge for me. So I want to make that.
So when I say you want to make that, so we have to be that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So only by being an example, they will emulate us, right? So it boils down to
So
go
my
ahead.
concern is they, even though they are in positive way, group of people are in negative way, only 1-2% are in positive way. They may feel that may be the right
Right.
win-win majority situation is there. No?
Correct.
So I want to become them as strong as their beliefs,
Very nice.
not on the majority base.
Very nice. So can you articulate this in the form of a sentence? Take your time, not necessarily immediately after this call, okay? But take a day or so, articulate this, okay? Because the clearer we articulate, you will be able to take action towards that, right? So, so this for you is your core, or is what sort of element is this that you want to seek? See, this is what you feel, that I want to make sure that my next generation walks the right path and not fall prey to the popular. It might be wrong. Whatever popular need not be always right. The wrong ways, right? So reflect on this a little deeply and see if you can write it with your own pen and paper. Crystallize this. Shorten the articulation. You want to give it a shot right now? In words, you express it. Should I step into your shoes and do that?
Yes.
So, based on what you said, I want to guide the next generation in the right path, right? So the prerequisite for that is I should walk the right path. As an example, change begins within, with me, right? So then one of your things that you will be seeking is righteousness. Then the next generation will imbibe righteousness from us. Okay. So then the next thing would be, the next layer of that seeking would be, I seek to influence the younger generation to walk the righteous path, to walk the path of dharma.
In that path, there are only the one person, they should be strong.
Yes. Okay. So reflect on this. Reflect on this. Okay. See, you may, some things might appeal to you differently. So what I presented is what appealed to me based on my context in life. Okay. Yes, I want to have a healthy body, obviously, calm mind, obviously, happy family, obviously, prosperous country. Hey, good morning. What's his name? What's his name, Shrivani? Ishwar. Ishwar. Arey, Ishwar, you are the goal we all are trying to achieve. Okay. So, and because of the path of material life, freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of people connection, freedom of purpose. So that appealed to me. So hence I crafted this as my holistic freedom, holistic happiness seeking. And the inner element, so that I live a life of detachment, as Bhagavad Gita teaches. Okay. So karma yoga, do things with detachment. So it sort of gave me a complete picture on what is it that I am pursuing in life. Then this helps me to craft on a daily basis. How do I translate this into my actions? because my actions should align to these seeking components and with the Purushartha Chatushtaya framework of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So if you really see, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha reflects into what I presented. Okay, so take a day or so, or a week if you wish, write down clearly what is it that you're seeking. Okay, then we'll translate. It's very easy to, that next part is easy. If healthy body is what I'm seeking, then waking up at the right time, sleeping at the right time, eating the right food, not abusing my body, respecting the limitations of my body, making sure that my body is energetic all the time, not doing unnecessary nonsense things with the body. So these things will become our actions, right? So only when we know the direction and goal, we can translate that into actions. Okay, so we'll pause here. Any other questions? Okay, if you have others have any questions, you may either raise your digital hand or maybe I'll ask all to unmute. Okay, so if you have a question, you can unmute and ask, or if you have a question, you can post it in the chat window. Anyway, this recording I'll be sharing in the YouTube channel, so you can refer to it later as well. So I invite each of you to take some quality time and reflect on this, reflect on the larger construct of life that has been laid out by society, reflect on how your life has shaped up so far, also reflect on how you wish to live this life in the years to come, right from tomorrow, right from next week, because that's where what we do every day will come from where we want to go. Okay, so with this, I'll pause for any last comments or questions. Otherwise, we'll conclude with a Shanti Mantra. Sriveni, any question? Cool. Okay, so how are you feeling, Sriveni, having discussed what we discussed today? Yeah, now you can unmute, I guess. Yeah.
So first, as you stated, now identification is very much important to do that. So that's what we have done in this session. It's very helpful.
Okay, so do spend quality time. Of course, time is the most competing priority, as you saw right now. Okay, so take some time, sit with yourself with a pen and paper, write it down, instead of typing it in a mobile, write it down in words, because writing does have a very good impact on converting our thoughts into intentions when we write. So do that, and you will message me and share with me what do you want to seek, what is it that you are seeking in life. Okay, don't worry about number of items that you will list. You don't necessarily have to categorize the way I have done. Whatever comes to you. So you express two things in this call. One is to live a medicine free, pill free life to whatever extent possible, and second, guide you're hoping that the next generation walks the right path. Okay, so these two came to you prominently. Sit with this thought a little more, concretize this a little more. Concretize. Okay, the more concrete your thoughts are clear, then it's very easy to convert that into day-to-day habits. Okay, so shall we pray Shanti Mantra and conclude? Okay, sit straight and say Namaskar Mudra. Gentle smile on your face. So we'll chant Om Purnamada. Inhale deeply. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you, seekers. Wonderful to see you again and meet you next week. Most likely, we'll try to translate these things that we are seeking in life into day-to-day habits that we can pursue, so that we build our life one day at a time, one habit at a time. Take care. Do take time off to sit with yourself and reflect and arrive at a list of things that you're seeking in life, materially, internally, externally, in all dimensions of life. Wish you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Bye.